Now, apparently, Mariah Carey's mother and sister both passed away on the same day, which is pretty remarkable. Um, First and foremost, I want to say this. I want to talk about the sister. I believe her name is Allison Carey. And I want to talk about how those of us who have been abused are expected to care for our abusers no matter what. This will not be a video speculating on the fucking Illuminati or, was this a blood sacrifice? Briefly, people jump to that all the time. I'm not saying that thing probably doesn't exist, but people literally die all the time. And sometimes when you're very ill and you get bad news, you pass away. I'm in healthcare. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of things go down. So I won't be speculating about if this is a blood sacrifice to Moloch and fucking Bohemian Grove or any of that other goofy shit. This is going to be specifically about the sister Allison. I don't know much about the mother, but from the little I've heard and the little I've researched, Mariah didn't have a very good relationship with her either. Okay, why am I talking about it? So Allison Carey apparently was a person who had an extremely difficult life, right? Many people who are narcissistic and abusers have very difficult lives. So that tracks, doesn't it? So, abuse from an early age, had a baby young, put herself on the street to make money to try to, make ends meet and all this. You know, a lot of things going on. I've seen since the announcement of this woman's death, right? I've seen the internet split. And what you'll see is half the people are like, poor Allison, now she's at peace. Poor Allison, oh, Mariah should have helped her. And then on the other side, you see people, which is my camp, who says, well, you made choices and your sister, who was trying to be healthy, moved away. Now, I don't have any problem with Mariah Carey cutting off her sister. I don't have any problem with her saying, my mother died, I'm heartbroken. Oh, yeah, also my sister died. Because when you've got a sister who throws scalding hot water on you, okay, to the point to where you have degree burns, and there are medical reports that support this, which is why I believe it. I'm not one to just believe hearsay, but there are medical reports that speak to this. When you've got a sister that throws scalding hot tea on your back to the point to where you have third degree burns, who gives you or attempts to give you a pinky nail of cocaine when you're a little girl, who attempts to pimp you out so that they can go off and get themselves a rock, why should you be expected to care for that person? This is the crux of what children of narcissistic parents who step away deal with. And that's why I'm talking about it. What is it in this culture, in this life, in this country, in this reality that makes people feel like, okay, you've been punched in the face 10 times, but expose yourself to fucking 11th punch? What is it in this culture that makes people feel like we have to sacrifice our lives and our safety and our peace of mind for people who have threatened it time and time again? What is it in this culture that makes people feel like that's the right response? I'll tell you what it is. Cowardice. Cowardice en masse. These people who talk to you and tell you to stay around people who have fucked with you and threatened your peace. Some of you got beat up. Some of you got touched inappropriately. Some of you got talked to like a dog every day of your life. Some of you were triangulated from your sibling, in a very deliberate way. Some of you were financially abused by parents who should have been taking care of you, but you ended up taking care of them. Some of you had your whole character fucking destroyed behind your back because, they just felt like doing it because, the thing is to get in front of it and to make sure you come out smelling like roses. Whereas the abused party in you end up being the person that, is maligned and everyone hates you and everybody's speaking against you. How many of us have that? That collected fucking negativity that we've had to deal with. How many of us have that? And then we have the second we do something to evade that, to get away from that, or to block that, the second we do that, we have people coming out of the woodwork, people who were never there to witness the damage that we incurred or the abuse that we received. We have people coming out the fucking woodwork talking about, oh, but, they've got problems. And, they had a bad childhood. Alice and Carrie had a bad childhood, and there's speculation that the family was a cult and this and that, and there's speculation about this and that. Nobody should give a fuck. Once you choose to smoke crack, I don't care what got you there, you smoking crack. You are a liability. Once you choose to go out there and sell your body and do all these things, guess what? You are a liability. Now, I'm not saying that means that that's what you are forever, but you are a liability. This woman made terrible choices in her life. I'm not happy that she went through bullshit, just as I'm not happy that my mother went through bullshit and was touched inappropriately and all the other bullshit she went through. But it's not on me. It's not on Mariah. It's not on you. It's not on anyone to absorb the negativity and the death spiral of another person. Particularly if you are the child of this person. It's not on us to absorb their fucking death spiral. If Mariah felt like her sister dying was an afterthought, guess what? Her sister did some shit to make her arrive at that. How many times are you going to pay for fucking rehab? How many times are you going to loan money? How many times are you going to fucking be sued? How many times is this motherfucker going to look for an opportunity to come out and speak against you in the media? Here's the thing. All these people who are famous, who have siblings, right? All these people that are famous who have siblings who have all these problems, they're jealous. Let's be real. If you really want to talk to your sibling, you've had a misunderstanding or something that you feel was misinterpreted, wouldn't you go directly to them? It's like Simone Biles' mother going to the media. They're trying to harm this person. There's nothing in this world that requires you to go to the media to talk about this person, to air your grievance. I, unlike, or she, unlike the majority of people, have access to her sister, probably have her personal phone number, probably know where she's staying at. The public doesn't know that. So why would you make the public aware of your grievance? Simply go to your sister or call your sister. There is nothing wrong with Mariah Carey's response to her sister dying. There was nothing wrong with that. More people need to cut these people off. More people need to do it because that'll make them value relationships. It's like a child. If a child transgresses and he goes around and he's taking cookies before dinner and he's doing whatever, if you allow him to keep doing it, he's going to view it as there's nothing wrong with that. But if you provide him with some discipline and some direction and some correction, he's going to understand there's a price to pay when you do that. When you allow abusers to keep abusing you, right? What you're letting them know is this is okay. I'm the person you should fuck with. I'm the person you should treat bad. I'm the person that's going to allow you to be your base self, your animalistic self, where you don't consider the feelings of other people. Because understand, the human animal is only the human animal because we were able to evolve into a state where we can appreciate and expect empathy from one another. Altruism. Yeah, I've got this mango, but you're also hungry. I'll break it in half and give it to you, rather than an animalistic base desire to keep the whole mango for yourself. Right? So when we allow abusers to keep abusing us, what we're allowing is for their base state in nature, their lizard brain. They are not learning. And unfortunately, even though we didn't make these people and they're not our children, we have to correct them like we're their fathers and mothers. We have to correct these children. The way to correct these children is to go no contact. To let them know that there's a consequence for their negative behavior. To let them know that you cannot continue to transgress without there being an equal but opposite reaction to you. That's the law of energy. That's the law of nature. You punch me in the face, either I punch you back or I withdraw. I'm not going to stand closer to you. That makes no fucking sense. There is nothing wrong with Mariah Carey cutting off her sister. More people need to do that. You want to be out in these streets. You want to forget you're a mother. You want to forget you have responsibilities. Guess what? I'm no better than anyone. But I'm going to look at your actions and I'm going to decide, you know what? I'm not going to invest in this. And everywhere but familiar relationships, right? Because if you're dating someone and they're shit, all your parents or all your people will encourage you to get rid of them, right? But in every other aspect of life, outside of familiar relationships, we are encouraged to not take a bad deal. You find a company and you're looking at the company. You might want to invest in this company. And then you find out their CEO was, investigated for fraud, and you find out that they've been cooking their books, and you find out that the stocks have been overvalued. Are you going to invest in that company? Or are you going to hold on to your money and go elsewhere? Do you lose your shirt out of morality and invest in this company? Or do you decide, do you think to yourself, you know what, I don't think I want to invest in this. I don't think I'm going to get anything back. If you're dealing with an abuser, you're not going to get anything back. You're only going to have things taken from you. They know how to take. That's why this woman, this Allison Carey figure, again, God rest her soul, or whatever's up there, rest her soul, right? That's why this woman needed to be left behind. Her own children don't speak to her. Her own children don't speak to her. That says something. That says something. And it doesn't matter if you're a fuck up and you've had a horrible time and you whatever, you gotta fix yourself. Nothing in this life is guaranteed. I'm a nurse, okay? Brief story, because this is all over the place. But I just had this thought and I wanted to talk about it. One thing I learned from nursing school, right? We had rounds at a hospital. And a part of those rounds and a part of our education there was seeing the morgue and seeing what could happen if you're not good at your job and faithful to your job and when you don't have a reverence for human life and you're sloppy. They took us down to the morgue. And in that morgue, I saw an old man who died. Okay, that's to be expected. Very old man. He was in his 80s. He had bad heart problems and, a lot of things going on. And unfortunately, his body gave out. He died, whatever entity rest him. And on the slab, I believe to the left of him, if memory serves me correct, was a little baby boy. Stillborn. Right? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. The beginning and the end. And the end and the beginning. Right? And the thought that occurred to me when I saw this was, there are no guarantees. No one is owed anything in life. This little baby boy was born dead. There's no fairness in that. There's nothing this child could have done to deserve that. Now, in terms of the old man dying, old men die. You get old, you die. That's the way it goes. But he could have done a whole lot of shit to accumulate the worthiness of that death. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just trying to make a point. He could have been completely full of blame, but that child very obviously was blameless. We are owed nothing in this life. Just because the abuser was abused doesn't mean they're owed anything in this life. What you get is what you put out. If you're a good person and you're supportive and you stand by people and you're interested in people's stories and you're interested in respecting people's boundaries, you're probably going to get some good things. You're probably going to have somebody at your bedside when it's time for you to, go, right? But if you're a piece of shit your whole life and you take and you rob and steal and you badmouth people and you do all kinds of fucked up shit, guess what? You might not have anybody there. And guess what? You weren't owed anybody there in the first place. The good person wasn't owed anything, so why the fuck should you be? Be a Mariah Carey and leave these people in the dust and go on and live your life. And that's not to say Mariah hasn't had problems. I understand that she had to, be committed for some mental issues going on, which only confirms for me that she did, in fact, experience abuse at the hands of people that were supposed to be her family, right? But be a Mariah. Don't be a punching bag. Don't absorb these people's, evil. It doesn't matter how sad their story was. They chose to make your story sad, and you were blameless. Never forget that.